What up, Dokkanners? The 8-year anniversary is so close. We are so close to the biggest celebration to date on global. So in today's video, we're going to be going over the hidden potential build recommendations for each of the anniversary characters. There are 6 that I'm going to be covering in today's video. I will be going through the EZA units, minus these 2 since they're brand new, on a separate video because there's a lot of units to cover here. And you guys have been asking me this recently because one of the things that especially newer players are going to want to consider when it comes to major celebrations, when you're actually summoning for these big baller units, you want to make sure that you're building them the right way, so that way they fit your play style, you're able to get the most out of the unit, so that way you can enjoy the celebration even more. But that being said, there are different ways to build some of these characters, some a little bit more clear cut than others, but there are different ways to build these characters depending on your playstyle, depending on your experience, depending on your teams, your composition and whatnot. So I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and opinions, and if you have your own views on how some of these units should be built, there's a great opportunity to have a good discussion in the comments down below. I'm sure some of the tunes would love to hear from some of the other tunes what they think these units should be built like. JP players providing their own 2 cents is also extremely useful. This is where the comment section is the MVP, not necessarily the video. It's you guys. And I've been seeing a lot of the comments you guys have been dropping, helping out other tunes. I really appreciate that. I really enjoy seeing that. When I'm reading a comment, my voice just cracked. When I'm reading a comment and then I'm about to reply something, but then the comments have already done that because somebody else is looking out for the tune. I love that. Tune helping tune. I appreciate it. So if you guys are enjoying the 8-year anniversary content, if you guys are enjoying the channel in general, if you guys are excited for more things to come during the 8-year anniversary and beyond, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We are trying to hit 70,000 subscribers before the 8-year anniversary begins, and I have been loving the support so far. So thank you guys so much. Without further ado, let's jump in. Also, keep in mind, folks, skill orbs are going to play a very important role here, because if I build a unit a certain way and you build a unit a certain other way and you want to combine both, the skill orbs allow you to do that. Let's just say, for example, I would say give this unit max critical, but you're like, nah, Toon, it's max additional. Well, the beauty of it is, if you want to combine both, you've got skill orbs who can provide that next level of customization to your units. And this is where skill orbs that are EX are even more useful. Now, I want to let you guys know right now, for the anniversary characters, do not go all in with your biggest and best skill orbs just yet. Why? Because the 8th year anniversary battle is going to be happening during this celebration. The 8th year anniversary battle is the final challenge event that's going to be dropping at the end of the celebration. But if you clear all of the missions for each stage, you will earn unique skill orbs to those anniversary characters. So the 8-year anniversary units, if you can clear stage 8 within 7 turns, you will get these ridiculous units, or these ridiculous skill orbs. Now, I do understand the irony. You might need skill orbs of this caliber for these units to do enough damage to allow you to clear the mission. So the irony is not lost on me, but I at least want you guys to be aware that in the end, you will get the best possible skill orbs for the anniversary characters within these events. So the solution is to use EX skill orbs. If you've got some EX skill orbs that could work on some of these characters, I would advise that you equip those onto these units instead. That way, when these skill orbs are unlocked, when you finally are able to clear these missions, you can then swap the EX skill orbs for these without losing anything. So, little pro tip for you guys, be aware that you will get their best possible skill orbs at the end of the celebration. So in the meantime, don't waste anything good. Now let's go through these units real quick. I'm not going to go through their full passives except for a few, because like when it comes to the Spirit Bomb Z and GT, we already know how they're built. This unit is an attack stacker in phase 1 before going into standby. This unit can launch multiple supers just like Spirit Bomb Z with that passive. The unique passive that is only for Spirit Bomb GT though is that you gain damage reduction up to 50% with each super attack performed, meaning the more super attacks you launch, the greater the damage reduction. So just right there, you would think that focusing on additional is the way to go. And that is true, because just based on this, going for additional would be the better option. You've already got a built-in 5 critical, being that this is an STR unit. You can launch maybe 3-4 super attacks in 1 turn if you're lucky with all of this stuff in the passive, plus your hidden potential. And you are building up your damage reduction, giving this unit more universal coverage in every single slot. A maxed out damage reduction unit in slot 1 pre-super attack might be better for you than some of the other units that you're running on the team, but this can't happen unless he first gets the ball rolling. So additional makes a lot of sense so far, but then when you switch into standby mode, this unit becomes a counter monster, a counter beast with that revive counter. So here's the thing, when you switch to this, you are now going from permanently stacking attack to temporarily. Then when you or anyone on your rotation gets KO'd for the turn, you instantly revive with full health, and then you do cataclysmic damage on your opponent with a revive counter. Now, when it comes to counters, the obvious thing is to maximize the damage that you can possibly do with critical. Because let's just say, for example, a Vegito, a tank Vegito is in your slot 1. Your enemy is attacking you 8 times. After you launch your super attack and you're just sitting there soaking up all that damage that you're getting hit by, and you're countering every single hit, all of that damage that you're launching back with a critical will add up to basically an extra turn's worth of damage. So critical counters are an extremely useful mechanic, and that is something that a lot of people like to use with their counter attack. So that being said, is it worth putting a little bit more into the critical side of this unit to allow for a much more lethal finisher attack, a revive counter? This is not a finisher attack like you're accustomed to seeing on units like Spirit Bomb Z or the World Tournament Golden Week Goku, where you want to be picking up orbs to allow for, actually the Golden Week Goku is different. But when it comes to the normal Spirit Bomb Z mechanic, when it comes to the charge and finishers, you want to be picking up orbs as much as possible to allow for a finisher. So here, you're going to gain so much attack, you're going to be doing crazy damage anyway. But for here, you're not doing that. So your main source of damage is going to come from either your critical or all of the attack that you've been stacking all throughout. So that is why I think a focus on additional and critical are both equally important for this particular unit, because having one without the other is still good, but having both together would be the best of both worlds. And also think about it this way. If you are able to you don't even have to transform. That's the thing. Like, you don't even have to transform into the Spirit Bomb mode. If you don't have enough critical and you're just going for full additional, you can do it that way, because if you're just constantly stacking attack 4, 5, 6 turns in a row with all the potential attacks you're going to be getting in there, all of the attack that you gain here will translate into this form, and then when you revive counter, you will do a ton of damage anyway. This is one of the main reasons why people in general are saying that Spirit Bomb GT is better than Z, because of the infinite potential seemingly of this unit's revive counter with all of that stacking that you can do. So I think, all things considered though, a balance between additional and critical allows you to get the best of both worlds. But that is my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, moving on to Spirit Bomb Z, I think this one is a very easy choice. You've got critical built into the unique part of the passive. You gain critical plus 10 instead of damage reduction up to 50. So that being said, the more super attacks you launch, the more critical hit you gain. 50% critical is the equivalent to 25 critical in your hit potential grid network, like in the actual window when you're doing hit potential. This is 25. So the chances of you even being able to compile this in your hit potential to begin with are going to be pretty low. So this already covers that for you. You've already got additional in the passive, so you really just don't need anything. But since this unit does raise defense and you want to make this unit as impervious to damage as possible, giving as much additional as possible, I think, is the way to go. This unit has no damage reduction. This unit has no guard in this base form. But when you transform into standby mode, keep in mind, this is a temporary measure. This is only here for 5 turns. And during those 5 turns, you're going to have crazy defense. You're going to have guard. You're going to have damage reduction per key sphere obtained. But then after you finish the finisher attack, you will then switch back. You're not going to have this anymore. So that being said, I think going for a infinite defensive stacking is the best way to go. Critical is covered. You don't want to, I mean, dodging, you could throw dodge as the balance in there, because maybe you're in a situation where your turn 1 slot 1 situation isn't looking too hot. This is your only unit that you can put in slot 1 to maybe survive an attack. So throwing balance dodge in there could be useful. If you want to put in more, you can. I just think going for full additional is the clear-cut choice for this character. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on this one. Max additional, balance, dodge. Then moving on to these two. Now, these two, I am most looking forward to seeing how you guys would recommend building them, because I want to know how different they might be from my thoughts. These two units are built really weird. They're not built in a way that has me super excited for using them. I'm probably not even going to use them a whole lot outside of maybe 1 or 2 showcases. So that being said, let's go through what they do. So the Gotenks and the Piccolo raises the attack on the 11 key super, 9 to 11 key, raises defense on the 12 key. Now for the passive, attack and defense plus 100%, plus an additional attack and defense plus 150 when performing a super attack. High chance to randomly change key spheres of a certain type to rainbow. Recover 5% health per rainbow key sphere obtained, plus an additional attack plus 50. Launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack when key is 11 or below. So based on this right here, if you're going for the attack stack, you get a chance for an additional. Okay. And then you get a medium chance to dodge if you launch a 12 key, which is the defensive super. To me, this is all that matters. I'm not running this unit to do damage. I'm running this unit to fill out my roster. That's how I look at it. And if this part gives me more dodge, I'm just going to lean in on that. This unit is an AGL, so it gets a built-in base 5 additional at 55%. So it's not going to interfere with your build if you follow my lead, which is to go for max additional, balance dodge, or max dodge, balance additional. Either way, you can't go wrong. You've got a medium chance to dodge to begin with. If you think that that is enough for you, focus on the additional. If you don't think that that would be enough, focus on the dodge and then put the rest into the other and then use skill orbs if you want. I don't even care. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care about any part of this. This stuff right here, it's irrelevant. Actually, wait, no, this part is. This part is irrelevant. I don't care about it. Don't care. I don't want to stack attack with this guy. I want to stack defense. He doesn't fit on too many teams that I'm going to be running anyway. Joint Forces characters sadly just have butchered categories unless they're like two of the same character. This is a hybrid Saiyan and a Piccolo or an Namekian, so they just don't fit. It doesn't work. So let me know what you guys think about this one. I think there's going to be a little bit more variety here. I would love to know from some of you who might think focusing on critical might be important or something like that. So let me see what you guys have to say. Moving on to the Shenrons, we got an Eis Nova Shenron. These guys are also kind of weird, but I like these guys a little bit more than the Boo or the Gotenks and the Piccolo. So this unit raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage with a great chance to stun. So this provides great utility for things like Super Battle Road, early rounds of Red Zone where you can stun targets. Changes AGL and STR key spheres to TEQ. Now this alone makes this unit very useful in my opinion, because double orb changing is a rare commodity in this game. And the only other one that comes to mind are the androids, the future androids who nobody uses because they're not good. They don't have their EZAs yet. And Weirus. I don't think that there are any other characters that can do that. I don't remember, but I do use the Weirus an awful lot for a fusion team. So this right here, I do like. Attack and defense plus 134, plus an additional defense plus 134 when attacking with 3 or more key spheres obtained. That's going to be easy. This is easy. This is basically guaranteed with this passive. Plus an additional attack plus 134 when attacking with 4 more key spheres obtained. That's also easy with this passive. Launches an additional super attack when attacking with 7 or more key spheres obtained. That is also surprisingly easy to achieve with this passive. So as far as I'm concerned, all of this is a given. That's how I view it. Attacks effective against all types when the target enemy is stunned. So this is sort of like a makeshift critical hit scenario. Attacks effective against all types basically bypass the type-based restrictions when it comes to damage output, which is essentially what critical hits do. So attacks being effective against all types is a rare thing that will occur given that the enemy has to be stunned, but when it does, you can get more damage out of it. So as far as I'm concerned, my priority here is padding those stats as much as possible to allow for this orb changer to remain on the team and to remain viable without getting me killed. With an additional super attack guaranteed with 7 or more, I would want to focus on getting another super attack in there to get 3 super attacks on 1 turn to boost up this unit's stats as much as possible. But that's my opinion. So for me, max additional, balance, dodge, balance critical. At that point, it's really just up to you. I don't really care. I just think max additional is the most important thing. So let me know what you guys think about this one. And now we come up on the final 2 units, the free-to-play characters. So when it comes to the Hercule, this guy massively raises defense and high chance to massively raise attack for 1 turn. Both are temporary. Both are temporary. If it was permanent for the defense boost, it would be separated by a comma, but it's not. So both of these things are being raised for 1 turn. It's just the attack has a lesser chance of actually getting the raise. So this unit is a defensive unit. Defense plus 200, high chance for all enemies attack and defense minus 20%. Attack plus 150 when performing a super attack. Key plus 2 plus an additional attack and defense plus 50. And seals the attacked enemy super attack when there is a world tournament category. Enemy or another world tournament category ally attacking in the same turn. High chance of launching an additional super attack when enemies attack down, defense down. Performs a critical hit when the target enemy is sealed. High chance of reviving. This is high chance of reviving with 50% recovered when the character is KO'd starting from turn 6. Is this the EZA? It is. He's not the best unit. I'm just going to go for additional because I want to boost up his defense as much as possible. That's his main, that's his forte here. And then balance dodge or do max dodge, balance additional. As a physical unit, you get a built-in additional 5 at 55%. So if you focus on max dodge, you can reduce the chances of you even getting killed, because when you do get killed, you're not even guaranteed to come back. So I wouldn't count on this at all. I wouldn't count on this unit in general, but if I am going to, I would go for max additional and then balance dodge, and then some of you guys can do the reverse of that. That's what I think about the Hercule. And then finally, we've got the Babidi. Now this unit, this is one of those units where, like, well, for everybody, I would reserve final judgment until you actually get to see them in action. So this is where showcases are going to be very important. If I build these units a certain way and it doesn't work out, I will change them. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I have done that in the past, where I say a unit could work in theory in a certain way, and it just doesn't work out for me and my RNG or my playstyle. It just doesn't work out. So for this one in particular, I think a field test is going to be very important. And I actually think JP players providing their own thoughts and opinions on this one will be also very useful, because this guy just doesn't know what he wants to do. Babidi greatly raises defense for 1 turn, causes Colossal with a high chance to seal. Okay. Greatly raised attack and defense for 1 turn, causes Mega Colossal damage with a high chance to stun. Okay. So padding those stats with defense, that's good. D +3 attack and defense plus 140. Good. Extreme class allies attack and defense plus 30%. That's also good. High chance of dodging when there's a super class enemy. So this is contingent on fighting a good guy. Then T +2 extreme class allies chance to perform a critical hit plus 10%, plus an additional attack and defense plus 40% when performing a super attack when there is an extreme class ally. So you're really only going to get one or the other, barring certain specific conditions. So do you want 50% chance to dodge, or do you want the team element or the extra team support? And to keep in mind, the team support here would be the key support and the critical hit. You're not getting more stats for the team, you are getting stats for yourself though. So this is where I couldn't quite decide what I wanted to do just yet. So then I switched to the standby mode, and if you go to standby phase, Majin Vegeta, this guy cannot attack, so he is not an attacker. Key +3 defense plus 150, defense plus 100% within the same turn after receiving an attack with when key is 12 or more. So that's also scary because he has to get hit once to get the defense. Reduces damage received by 40% within the same turn after receiving an attack when key is 15 or more. That is good. Recovers 10% health at the end of the turn when key is 18 or more. Attack plus 300 when performing the finisher. So when it comes to the finisher, you want to do as much damage as possible because that's the ultimate point of the standby phase finisher skill. So critical comes to mind. This is a free-to-play unit, so the propensity for damage is generally lower. So if you want to capitalize on the damage, going for critical could be nice. When it comes to the base form, padding those stats multiple times on any given turn to account for the lack of dodge, because maybe you're fighting an extreme class enemy. You might want to think that additional is the way to go. Maybe you want to go for critical because you want to, capitalize on the damage on this unit because you don't want to transform into the standby phase. Or maybe you want to dodge. I feel like this unit could benefit from any one of those, which is why a field test is extremely important. But this is where I betray my team additional stands here. And you're not going to believe me saying this, but I think max dodge might be the way to go for this guy. I don't trust this unit's ability to protect himself when he's in the standby phase. I don't. So I think focusing on an int unit to gain max dodge is one of those rare opportunities where you can actually benefit from it here, because that way you can basically take this part of the passive against the superclass enemy and also translate it over to the extreme class side. Yeah, you won't have the same level of dodge because a maximum dodge on an int unit is 32 or 33. I think it's 32. Yeah, 32. So you can't have the same level of dodge, but you can get a good amount. And that way, when you are facing a superclass enemy, you will have even more dodge on top of what you already have. But then when you're fighting an extreme class enemy, you'll have essentially a medium chance to dodge. And that also translates into when you are in the standby mode. In your standby mode, you will also have your medium chance to dodge. So I think, hot take, max dodge is the way to go for this unit, but I am very much looking forward to seeing how this unit is on the field, because man, would I love to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. I mean, I don't want to be right about this one, being that it needs to have full dodge, but it could very well be the case. So here's my breakdown. Once again, finale, Spirit Bomb GT, max out critical and additional. Having both will make it even better. For Spirit Bomb Z, max additional, balance, it can honestly be anything. I don't know why I put crit here. It could be anything. You could put dodge, so you can give this unit a nice slot 1 defense turn 1. You could give critical just to give a little bit more of an oomph on each attack on the ascent upwards. So balance anything, it doesn't matter. Gotenks Piccolo, max dodge, balance additional. Like I said, you could go the other way. So you could do max dodge, balance additional, or max additional, balance dodge. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say about that. Looking at the Eis Nova Shenron, max additional, balance dodge is my recommendation. I'm sure some of you guys will probably want the other way, but I think that going for additional is the way to go. And then for the Babidi, max dodge. I mean, that's what I think. That's what I think. And then for Hercule, max additional, balance dodge, or max dodge, balance additional. You can't go wrong either way. Actually, best case scenario, you just don't use the unit. But yeah, I mean, he's still there. He still will be useful. I will be running through all of these units and we'll see what they can do. But this is my overall build for the 8-year anniversary units. Coming up next, the Easy A's. Look forward to that one. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments your thoughts and your opinions on how these units should be built. Do you agree? Do you disagree on any of my philosophies on these units, builds, hidden potentials? How many skill orbs do you have ready, locked and loaded to use on these characters? And did you know about that skill orb thing that I mentioned regarding the 8th anniversary battle? Did I just save you from wasting some precious skill orbs on the anniversary units? Let me know your thoughts about everything in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know when I see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned and I'll to Dokkan responsibly.